When dubbed anime gets broadcast specifically for younger audiences, dubbing studios need to make a few changes to comply with network broadcasting standards in their own country. While certain elements are easily censored without altering the tone of the show too much, sometimes, censoring alcoholic beverages is a bit tougher. Well, actually it should be just as easy, but for some reason companies that had to censor alcohol for child-friendly TV made the changes awkward and noticeable. Then again, some dubs did at least okay by not acknowledging it at all, like in Toonami's broadcast of Yu Yu Hakusho, where Chu's drunken fighting style was not mentioned, or in Island of the Giant Pokemon, where all the Pokemon got drunk and 4 kids just let the scene play out.
That is not part of a healthy Pokemon diet!
That being said, even though I prefer when dubs don't change anything, I'm going to count down some of the more outlandish ways alcohol was changed into another food or beverage in English anime dubs, with each edit getting progressively more ridiculous.
Because alcohol makes you silly.
Yeah, silly, or as these dubs could not say, drunk. So here are the top 10 ways alcohol was censored in English anime dubs. Number 10. Soda in a few different dubs. Turning alcohol into soda is a pretty standard censorship in other media, so this was a pretty quiet edit. Granted, it's easier when it's intended to be soda that is treated like alcohol from the beginning, rather than beer that was retroactively made this carbonated soft drink. This edit was common on the Toonami broadcast of the various Gundam series, where you had characters constantly going into space bars and bartenders being part of the cast. These bartenders really just serve alcohol. Don't look at these bottles in the background and just tell me it's soda. Yeah, that soda you ordered, it's just hard liquor.
You mean my cream soda that I just had? I kinda have to go to work right now. What about my presentation?
But a more elaborate edit was in Sonic X by 4 Kids. In one episode, Knuckles goes to a bar in Hong Kong looking for someone, and any reference that this is a bar is replaced with this almost empty-looking fast food material. They even add a 50s-style burger joint hat to the bartender that disappears 5 seconds later in the next scene. However, for the mugs of beer, the colors are changed, which I guess signifies that this is something non-alcoholic in these mugs. I understand that a beverage that is a shade of brown looks like root beer or cream soda, but these are still clearly beer mugs. The fries do not divert my attention. I repeat, the fries do not divert my attention. Number 9. Potion or elixir in Naruto. This edit also isn't too bad since it replaces sake with a drink that has a vague open name. It's up to your interpretation based on all the different functions potions have in other media. I mean, what is a potion even made out of? Boiled herbs? Blue liquid? Medicine that heals 20 HP? It could even be sake. Potion brand sake.
Come on, guys. We all know what potions are. We drink them all the time.
As a result, they can't call Rock Lee's fighting style the Drunken Fist, since he's technically not getting drunk, or more, they can't reference him getting drunk. Drunken Fist is changed to Loopy Fist. Alright, I guess that's acceptable. Of course, I'll always like how the Toonami run of Dragon Ball had Jackie Chun's Drunken Fist technique renamed Mad Cow Attack. Now that's how you go wild with a name change. Number 8. Normal Juice. You'll learn why I have to call this Normal Juice later in the list. This was a joke scene in Sailor Moon where Usagi is at a fancy party with high-class people from another country that spoke English. So in trying to learn the language on the fly, she was attempting to calm down by drinking a glass of juice. However, she accidentally drinks an alcoholic beverage of some sort that was sitting next to the juice that kinda looks like juice, gets drunk, and embarrasses herself at the party. Her friends find out that she's drunk in the aftermath when describing that she believed she was innocently drinking juice. In the censored dub, Usagi made no mistakes, meaning she meant to drink juice, and she did drink juice. The reason she acted so quote-unquote silly at the fancy party was because she drank too much juice with that glass of suspicious juice. Tired of the word juice yet? Maybe they needed to put a PSA at the end of this episode on what would lead one to dangerously drinking too much juice.
Sometimes when you're nervous, you just need to calm down your nerves with some juice. That's what I do when I have a really big presentation.
Actually, this episode was in a season when Cloverway was dubbing the series and they did away with those PSAs at the end, so it makes that joke less relevant. Number 7. Tea in Tenchi Muyo. I know I discussed this in another video, but basically when Tenchi Muyo was shown on Toonami, the dub recorded alternate lines when they're drinking sake. Once with the proper lines for the official release, and once with all of the references to alcohol replaced with the word tea. Nothing else has changed, the characters still get visibly drunk, and they are even self-aware that this is a thinly veiled substitute by calling it special tea. No, not that, it's, there we go. What else could they pass off as special tea that gets you the equivalent to drunk anyway? Did they spike it? There's no naturally alcoholic tea, is there? Let me give you a lesson on tea.
Move over, Mr. T. I am the expert here on teas.
Where do you come from?
There are black teas and green teas and yerba mate teas, but really my jam is the peach tea, the best tea of them all.
That's technically a flavor, not a variety. Okay, we all know you're tired of the tea puns out there. Number 6. Water. In a few dubs, but a lot of the time it appeared in Dragon Ball related media. When you have these arrogant villains that drink water out of a fancy wine glass, it makes you wonder, why are they using such expensive glassware for such a basic beverage? This was a 4Kids thing in its later years, since it was prevalent in One Piece and the Toonzai run of Dragon Ball Z Kai with Frieza. I will give them credit that it didn't draw too much attention to the censored alcohol like a few of our next entries, and they were not the first offenders of this. One of the most famous edits comes from the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z at the very beginning. Master Roshi was originally drinking an unspecified liquid out of a beer mug, which you can conclude is beer if you use basic observation skills. Ocean Group may have feared kids would see our favorite Elder Master drinking beer, so they made it a deep blue liquid representing foaming water. Since it was so deep blue, it looks more like Windex is what Master Roshi is drinking. I know his training methods got a bit unorthodox, but drinking that will kill you. Number 5. Tuna Fish sandwiches in Dragon Ball Z, the first Broly movie. Hey, it's another DBZ edit. This time it was all Funimation's doing. Before the trip to the Broly fight planet, Master Roshi has a lot of drinks and is drunk for the entire movie. In fact, he has an unedited bottle of booze at the beginning of the dubbed movie. At one point, Master Roshi exclaims he's hungover, and Oolong responds, "I told you should have taken it easy with all those tuna fish sandwiches you had to eat." Despite the fact he's clearly drunk and even exclaims he's hungover, they still change Oolong's line acknowledging Master Roshi has been drinking. The only conclusion I could make is when DBZ was initially dubbed, certain lines were recorded twice for the Toonami cut and uncut versions, yet some stayed the same in both versions. This was one of them. It makes Oolong look unaware of what intoxication is. Or maybe Tuna Fish is alcoholic in the Dragon Ball universe. You've seen the fish in this anime. Never trust them. They indirectly ruin what could have been an epic fight between oversized Saiyan muscles and oversized Master Roshi muscles. Number 4. Exquisite Juice from Yu-Gi-Oh! And 4Kids One Piece. Remember when I said there would be a couple of juice entries on this list? Here's why. These were mainly 4Kids edits where characters would drink wine, but they would basically label it as fancy juice, which had all the properties of wine. At least with the Sailor Moon juice edit, it was a drink that could be passed off as juice. Here we have scenes like Maximilian Pegasus talking about Gorgonzola cheese and the world's finest wine, with wine replaced with fruit juice, so it's the finest fruit juice, as he holds that fruit juice in a wine glass. I'm glad we live in a world where fruit juice is high-end enough where you have to drink it out of such glassware.
He's classy.
It's kind of strange to think that they cannot show someone of legal drinking age with wine. Still, the 4Kids One Piece dub had the most clumsy wine censorship. It's an important scene in Sanji's introduction that shows that he will not lie to help some famous guy impress a woman, as that guy guesses the vintage on his wine. Juice. He smells it like wine, does all your proper wine tasting techniques, but speaks about it like it's juice. This one is bad mainly because everything else about the scene is fine. How enthusiastically the voice actor says grape juice just feels like they're trying to sell it too hard. It's grape juice! See, it says it on the label! Maybe it was a self-aware scene, but there's only so many times I can use that defense for things on this list. Number 3. Chocolate milk from Gosh Bell, or Zatch Bell in the dub. After the defeat of an antagonist who is drinking... Hey, why is he allowed to have alcohol? Oh, I see. I'm sure that was apple cider that was sometimes wine in the original version too. Anyway, after the defeat of this antagonist, the heroes were celebrating. Ally Conchime, who has a duck bill, pulls out some 98 Niu Sankin, if I pronounced that correctly, which is technically some type of probiotic drink, so this could have gotten off scot-free if the scene just ended here. However, right after that scene, his fighting partner Fulgore talks about how the wine tastes great. So when Studiopolis dubbed this, they decided to make Fulgore's drink the same as Conchime's, by having Conchime pull out his special chocolate milk for such an occasion. I hope you kept that in proper refrigeration when you brought it along your travels. Even if he did have a cooler for his milk, Fulgore does not sell it well that wine was never here. As he responds, "Excellent vintage, let's drink it before the expiration date." So they basically acknowledge that there is censorship here. Good thing too, or else I would have to question why anyone wants vintage on their milk.
I like chocolate milk. I can go for that right now.
I don't think you want this chocolate milk. Vintage on chocolate milk means it's chocolate cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese flavored chocolate milk?
Chocolate flavored cottage cheese.
I don't like either of those.
Number 2. Green chili sauce from the Digimon dub. With all the edits in the Digimon dub, I'm surprised it took this long for it to show up on the list. In episode 34, when Pico Devimon wants to know why Wizardmon did not do his job, he pulls out a bottle of sake saying he was getting drunk in the human world, which was a lie and cover-up for his alliance with Gatomon. In the dub, instead of just cutting out this part or editing it, when he pulls out the bottle, he says, "It's a bottle of green chili sauce. It goes great on tacos." Pico Devimon responds, "It's no time to be eating." Why don't they just awkwardly edit in some tacos in this scene while they're at it? They make Wizardmon seem less sly in this scene since they changed his line from a legitimate excuse that would protect his true intentions to, "Look, green chili sauce! It's green because the bottle's green!" Maybe he was not as smart as we all thought.
No, he's not. Maybe he's just getting drunk because he doesn't want to do something. And why are you picking on him? He's a good guy. Leave him alone.
Well, maybe I'd lay off him if Wizardmon did not sit in trees dousing tacos in sake that he thinks is chili sauce. He has to know those things are not the same. The consistency of the two are completely different. Where are his tacos anyway?
You know what? Maybe he has the munchies and he ate all of his tacos. Why can't he just be eating his tacos in the forest alone? Some people do that. I do that. Why can't Wizardmon eat tacos with me? You know what? I don't really like tacos, but maybe he can have some tea with me. I really like tea. You know what? The peach kind. That's my favorite. I would have peach tea with Wizardmon every day in the forest, maybe around noon, because that's the time I get out of work. Yeah.
Okay, that deviated from any sort of script we had, but I'm keeping it all. Number 1. From one type of spicy sauce to another. This edit is my favorite and is so weird that it worked way, yet at the same time it makes little sense. And it was plastered in the episode a lot more than the Digimon edit. Hot sauce and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Thanks, 4Kids. So, one episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX that gave 4Kids some problems was when the father of Chumley, a bad student who loves grilled cheese, wants to take his son out of the school to work at his sake business. He brings sake for the professor, he talks about making sake, and in the inevitable duel that determines if his son stays or comes with him, his deck is themed around sake and drunken monster cards. The archetype of these monster cards is actually drunken. It follows early anime Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! GX formulas to a T, where one-off characters embrace their theme a bit too much. Since you cannot escape sake in this episode and these monsters were even drunk and had the scent of alcohol, they needed a liquid that came in a bottle, made characters lose their balance, and smelled bad. I got it! Hot sauce, because, well, alcohol is sometimes called the sauce, so let's literally make it the sauce. It was a bit of a stretch on their part, but it was also kind of creative.
That'll give you a tummy ache and some acid reflux.
Yeah, they did not change the manner in which the hot sauce was consumed when making the switch from sake. You see, they recolored all the bottles to look like hot sauce in this bright red color, showing how thinly veiled it was that this used to be sake. Like this one scene where they're talking over a bottle of hot sauce and they're drinking it out of sake cups, alone, with nothing else. In the duel, all the monsters have the adjective dizzy in front of them because they drank or had too much hot sauce, according to the dub. Their scent is also alcohol, it's hot sauce, acknowledged by the dub too.
Yes! Yes! More fun!
It's strange to see these monsters love hot sauce so much that they hold a full bottle of it. Is that because whenever they're given food, they can just conveniently put hot sauce on it, or do they drink it straight out of the bottle? Hey, I don't know this tiger's esophagus power. The father has a few more hot sauce themed cards that used to be sake themed, but the changes I discussed were the ones that made the edit most noticeable. It's a weird edit, it's a clever edit, it's my number one. So what did you think of these alcohol edits? Are there any other fun anime alcohol edits I missed? Let me know. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Bye!
Hey, thanks for staying after the supposed end to this video. Here's about a minute of alternate takes or partially improvised scenes that we recorded that did not get put in the main video. There's very varying mic quality in some of these. Roll the classical music. Thanks for watching. The 4Kids One Piece dub was also guilty of the soda edit. Like when Usopp called a bottle of liquor, fizzy soda. I'm glad he added the adjective. Or in the Sonic X dub, when Knuckles walks into a bar with mugs full of, what are we saying this is? Because it obviously can't be alcohol because it's 4Kids.
If it's gonna be beer, it's gotta be cream soda. Because those colors, those match, yo.
Quite philosophical of you. I don't trust this special tea. I'm no scholar on tea, but last I checked...
Move over, Mr. T, because I know my tea. There's rooibos tea, there's green tea, there's matcha tea, there's black tea. I just got this yerba mate tea today. I don't really know what that is, but I'll let you guys know what it is when I try it. There's peach tea. I don't think that's a classification of tea, but it's my jam, so...
Shumley's dad also has a card called Flipping the Table, which goes with these bottles of sake cards that get turned into hot sauce in the dub. I don't know where to go with this.
Whenever I eat my tacos with some hot sauce on it, I occasionally flip the table.
With Wizard Mod?
With in the forest.
Imagine if Neon Genesis Evangelion was on Toonami. What would Misato's beer have been? Of course, that would have been cool because I would have gotten to talk about it on this list. There's still time, though. You got to the end of this video. Congratulations! Close enough.